Hello, everyone. I am Matti Rosenshine. MRA Studio is located in a small town in the Middle East, Jerusalem, Israel, which you might have all heard of. A few words about practicing in Jerusalem. Jerusalem, as you can imagine, is a rather conflictatious city to do architecture in, being the sort of desire of all three monotheistic religions, with Jews and Arabs and Muslims and Christians. And so it is a rather challenging city to practice in. And yet it's an exciting city to work in, with a great history which is there. And so our firm is approximately 20 people. And we have a range of projects from very large mixed-use projects. Jerusalem now is going up in height for the first time. They have recently allowed buildings to go up to 30 and 40 stories, which is the first time in history. And you can imagine comparing it, say, to Paris, with the new sort of zoning decisions, that it's a real issue. And so it's a challenging and yet an exciting city to do architecture in. And so given that the sort of challenges, I decided to present today a very small project of just about 600 square meters of the Botanical Gardens Event Center, which is very significant for the New Together, especially in a city like Jerusalem. And it's probably one of our smallest projects. It's a project that we probably made no money on. I'm sure that maybe some of you can relate to that, perhaps. But the image that we're looking at now actually reflects a lot about what Jerusalem is all about. First of all, Jerusalem sits on the border of the desert, where the hills go down to the Dead Sea. So it is an enormously arid city with no water. And so when we come to Europe, we are just so envious of what we see here. And in the botanical gardens here, in front of the event center, is a pond, a very, very small pond, but it's like a gem in Jerusalem. So when we were approached by the Botanical Gardens to sort of retrofit this building, it was a real opportunity. And so the idea of water and the lack of water in Jerusalem was very much in our mind. At the same time, when we look at the base of the historic building, the lower part of the building is built from Jerusalem stone. And right around 1944, when the British Mandate was in Jerusalem, Henry Kendall, the British master planner, set a zoning plan which has persisted until today, where all buildings and all construction needs to be clad with Jerusalem stone. And so we're looking at the base of this building, a recent addition by Aronson Architects, which was, it's a relatively new approach where you can add more glass, but every building in Jerusalem needs to be from Jerusalem stone in different textures and sizes, and it's a real challenge, especially with a city that's growing up in height. So if you can imagine a 40-story tower, how do you do that in building, both in terms of technology? How do you clad a 40-story tower with stone? And so right now there's a big debate in the municipality of Jerusalem and among architects in Jerusalem how much of it should be stone. So it looks like 50% of buildings now that go up can be from other materials, but the others have to be from stone. The last thing I want to say about this is that given the nature of the city, creating an event hall is a real opportunity which can bring people together. And when we were approached to do this building, they said basically, make a wedding hall for us. Even though it's an event center in the Botanical Gardens, they saw it as a financial opportunity. And so we said, we don't really think it should be a wedding hall. Let's look at it in a much broader sense of a way to bring people together. And so here we see a view from the inside where a concave elevation facing the pond. You can see the vegetation growing in the water right now, so it looks like it's all green, but that's actually water. And let's talk about the plan a bit. The plan, you can see the pond on the upper right-hand side, and the historic building, or the old building from about 1980. Was a sort of organic form, and we decided to have the inner arc, which is all glass, completely, or as open and permeable and transparent as possible towards the pond. There's a very large road behind the outer arc, which we decided to clad in wood and have as much wood as possible. And in this organic form, you see basically a large multi-purpose hall. It's a little bit hard to see on the screen, but with two vertical circulation cores, one on each side for elevators, and another sort of open area, which is basically meant for dancing and other types of events. What was most inspirational to us in the design was naturally the organic forms of the botanical gardens. And so we were inspired by leaves, and this is the plan of the one side which I mentioned a minute ago, and obviously looking at tree trunks and leaves, and even the structure of cells, with the nucleus of cells and the ribosomes and other components constantly were inspiring us with the nature of this space. And so this is the plan of one edge. And then the internal view shows we have about 95% of wood here, which we felt is a real opportunity to stress and begin to encourage and promote the concept of sustainability. Israel is behind Europe and North America in sustainability. Codes are just now being written, and so anything relating to sustainability is a real challenge. And so we saw this as an opportunity to bring in recyclable materials, natural materials. The other materials are metal, which are comprise about 10% of the materials here. This is the outer arc turning its back towards the road. And we very much love the opportunity of expressing the idea of entering a very intimate space, which is very different from the stone that you have all over the city. So we sort of inversed the idea of outside, pulling it inside, and wanted to see the movement of light during the day as it moves around the building and the effects that it will have from the inside. Another view. Another aspect was to create a gallery space around one of the elevator shafts, which we cannot see in the image here, but almost to create like a treehouse effect. So people could go up into those spaces where the ceiling is very low. It's about 2 meters 10, and you can have very sort of intimate events in that space, and it's actually a wonderful space to be in. But there was a constant challenge to get more and more meters, and so we created this sort of treehouse effect within that space. Another sort of tree trunk or element you can see cladding the other elevator on the other side. Here you can see again that gallery space with the stairs going up to it. And again the play of light with some metal contrasting the stone. And some ceiling views, again reflecting the organic nature of the place, with various light effects which are quite dramatic at night. And the final image is the dance area where people can speak to each other and dance together and eat together And we found this very small project very appropriate for the New Together, and thank you very much.